nobody can tell me what to do with my own money.
Yeah.
You know, I'm enjoying it. I'm young, right? I'm going out to the clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And after like the end of my contract year, I'm like, where all my money go? Like, I can go back to New York with no money, right?
Yeah.
Like invest in a house or something, just in case you retire, you want to quit. At least you have somewhere to live. You don't need to worry about paying rent or anything. And the house, you can sell it if you don't like it eventually or something. You know, don't just like you get your contract money and then you buy a car. Like that's a lot of young mistakes. You know.
Yeah. It's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, rookie mistake. Like, you know, if you're only practicing 2 times and 2 hours a day with me, and I'm already like a level above you. Yeah. When are you gonna reach my level if I'm still practicing more than you?
You need to clock in more hours.
So like something as small as that allows us to push each other.
Hello everyone, this is Ray from Nalar Bicara. Today I have a special guest coming from the sports world. He's been the captain of national basketballer for many years. Everyone, please welcome Arki.
Thank you for having me, Ray.
Bro, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Appreciate your time. And
glad to be here.
By the way, congratulations. Signing on the new team.
Thank you.
Amazing, man. Another 3 seasons.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Looking
Excited, man. All right, let's take us from the beginning, like the time when your basketball journey, the transitions from you were born and raised in New York, and then you moved to Jakarta for Satria Muda back then, right? Can you take us back to your journey to get where you are?
Yeah. So actually, when I was in college, like I didn't even think about coming to Indonesia to play basketball, right? Like I didn't even know anything about Indonesia basketball. Okay. But then I had a cousin, you know, he's like one of the main reasons why I play basketball. Like I've always seen him play basketball growing up and stuff like that. And then like even when I was in high school, like he always started like recording me play, practice and stuff like that. And then in 2009, he messages somebody in Satria Muda in management, and he's like, "Yo, I have a cousin that can play basketball. If you want to give him a tryout, fly him in and whatever." And then so 2009, I was still in college. I flew to Jakarta to try out for Satria Muda. Back then, it was Satria Muda Britama. Yep. And then that month I practiced with them. The team wanted me to play right away, but then I was like, I have to finish college first. Like I only have like a year left, right? Okay. So I was like, let me finish college first and then we'll see what happens. And then at first, my plan was just to come to Indo just to try being a professional athlete for 2 years. That's it. Okay. And then now it's just like 14 years.
Yeah, 14 years now. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Then, so that's how.
So after a year, so you kind of postponed the offer for a year before decided to go back. Yeah. Was it a difficult transition? Because, you know, culturally it would be so much different considering that you've never lived in Indonesia before.
Yes and no, because I feel like my parents, like when we was at home in New York, like they taught me the culture, right? Like my mom always cooked her version of Indonesian food. Right. We spoke the language, but the only thing is like again, the food was her version, not like the same as when you actually come here. Yeah. And then the language thing was like my parents understood what I was trying to say, but they didn't necessarily always correct me every time. Right. Okay. Yeah. And then until I got here, and then that's when it was
you got corrected so much.
Yeah, I got corrected so much. So it was like I was to the point where like when my rookie season, I was talking with my teammates. Like they were talking their slang, like with the area of where they grew up on and stuff like that. So when I talk to other regular non-athletes and then I use their words, they're like, "What are you trying to say?" I was like, "Yo, this guy uses this word all the time. Like, how do you not know that word?" And then I figured out, okay, which one is formal, which one is like slang, which one is like.
But then that's only coming from the language perspective, right? Yeah. I mean, cultural would be on how you deal with people. For example, you grew up in New York. You have the tendency to be direct to people. Did you have a problem dealing with indirect culture in Indonesia?
Yeah, a little, but Indonesians usually they're kind of direct, but in their own way at the same
Right.
time, right?
Okay.
So it was like I always said how I felt, but then like I would always be, I was always raised treat people the way you want to be treated, like I'll
Yeah.
if I think it's like not rude, then I'll say it. But
Okay.
like if it's necessary for the team or if it's a positive way, then I'll just say
You
how
just
I
say
feel.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's like negative, then I'll just unless it's necessary, then I'll just keep it to myself.
Yeah.
But then it's like, yeah, other than that, like uh living in a country where always had the azan and stuff like
Yeah.
that, like that was difficult,
Yeah. At the beginning. Yeah.
eating food was tough. Like I remember the first year, I might have like stayed in the hospital 3 times
Because of
eating
eating the wrong food.
Yeah, like on the side. And
Oh, wow, okay.
makan
Yeah,
gitu,
yeah.
tendang gitu. And then so like I had to watch what I eat.
Yeah.
And then just learning the whole transportation, like angkot and stuff like that.
Oh wow, you had to go through all that when you first came.
Because being in New York, we have sidewalks, right? Where
Yeah,
I was big
yeah.
on walking. So coming here, like there's no
There's no
place
way.
I
Nah.
can't walk. Like even if I wanted to. And then so I had to learn like angkot,
Yeah.
all the taxis. They didn't even have Grab back
Nah,
then.
nah.
So like if like I might get ripped off taking a OJEC or stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it was a
That's
ride.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's
And then considering that your direct family wasn't here, so you're practically alone in a new country.
Yeah, so like maybe the first 2 years my parents were back and forth.
Okay.
So like but most of the time they like the first 2 years they were back in New York and then I was here, but it allowed me to just focus on basketball.
Okay.
So
That's amazing.
And I'm a type of person where like I'm okay with being alone.
Yeah.
Like I like my own peace and stuff like that, and then I like to just learn sometimes on my own, so figure things out, and then I think it helped me focus on basketball.
Yeah. That's super. And then you've been playing professional basketball 14 years now. Is there any specific habits or routine practice for your peak performance? Because professional sports, I feel like professional sports, what I would like to learn today is professional sports is super competitive. As much as like you're being an entrepreneur, you're running your own business, you have a lot of competitions. And but in your situation as a professional basketballer, how do you keep that peak performance all this year?
I think one of the biggest keys and advantages is that like I love basketball.
Yeah.
Right.
Passion is there.
Yeah,
right?
the passion is there. So
Yeah.
like I don't really necessarily like I'm not fighting myself to get up every day to go to practice or having to work out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy it. So it's like every time I go, every year in and year out, like I see what the team that I'm on needs, and then I try to provide it. So it's like if they need me to play a certain position,
Yeah.
then I'll focus on how do I get my body or my game so I can provide that position for my team and stuff like that.
Right.
Because every season, there's a different roster and a different requirement from the team and stuff
Yep.
like that. So, yes, so having the passion for it and not being bored and enjoying playing basketball, I think that's the key of me being able to have such a discipline to maintain and work on my craft every year
Yep.
and stuff like that.
It's a lot of because being in such a competitive environment for such a long time without passion that of the game, it would be impossible to keep going.
It's tough. I actually played soccer before playing basketball.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, for like a year, but then I didn't find it fun at all.
Okay.
So like I went through it. Don't get me wrong. I felt like me playing soccer first helped me with my like footwork and stuff
Okay.
like that in basketball.
Yeah.
But then like I just didn't enjoy it. But then when I shifted to basketball, that's when I started having fun.
Okay.
Like wanting to compete more, play the game more and stuff like that.
Okay. So that happened in New York, or
That happened in New York.
That what happened in New York? Okay. So you tried out soccer first before you
Yeah, I
started
tried
basketball.
soccer, yeah.
Okay. Right. So now, all those years in Satria Muda, you were part of their long streak of multiple championship. What made the team the team is so such successful? Is there anything in the ecosystem that really supports that?
I think the culture that they try to teach to like have a certain standard. You can really tell the difference between a championship caliber team and a lower C team. It's like everything is detailed when it comes to the practices, the itinerary, what they provide for the players, the facilities, what food they give, and stuff like that. Even if we're talking about like the how much you make, contract, and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like they're very like if you're gonna want a championship team, you have to provide everything as a championship team would, you know. So like you can't just cut corners like stuff like that.
So it's what you're saying is that the team is being professionally managed to cater for that results for all these years.
So it's like even when it comes to like, let's say for example, in the beginning of my career, their development, it would be like, okay, instead of during the off season we just scrimmage against other local teams, like they would fly us out to the Philippines, to Thailand, Singapore
to do some tryouts,
to do some training, learn from different coaches, play against teams that are a lot better than us and stuff like that. So that like they took it very serious, you know.
And I can imagine like how they recruit the new players. They have certain advantage in terms of recruiting. They know like how to scout a new players coming in and that, so they can fit into the culture that they're building, right?
I think when it comes to scouting, maybe there's not that much of a gap between Satria Muda and other teams. I think, you know, other teams have do well scouting, but the thing is also that, you know, now you come from the player's perspective. Like, do I want to play for a team that's won championships that provides A, B, C, D,
to
E, F,
Z,
G,
all the way to Z
for their players, or do I want to play for this team that only provides A, B, C? You know, so it's like, since they show that they have a standard, like, okay, we want to be a winner. And this is what it takes to be a winner. Look at what we've done in order to reach these 12 championships. Join us, and then you can be.
So it's it's like a facilities, and then the fact that Satria Muda has been in the championship for so many years, that kind of attract the right talent as well. Can you share like an example of culture in Satria Muda? To specific to the team culture for consistent performance?
I think when I was in Satria Muda, you know, there was you'd have a gap between the younger players and the older players, right? So what would happen is like we're one of the few teams that actually had our own basketball arena, right? And it was connected to the dorm. So like basically all you had to do was walk down and then
to the
go
practice,
and shoot around by yourself and stuff like that. So like we would compete with each other, but at the same time we would push each other. Whereas like I would during off hours I would be shooting, take extra shots and stuff like that. And then like, we would talk and be like, yo, when do you expect to take my spot if I'm working? I'm better than you already right now. And then I'm still working on my craft, but you're just sleeping. And then so that pushes each other, and it's like, oh, my senior, my veteran.
That is actually very normal to be said to the team players.
Because it's like, you know, we practice 2 hours, maybe sometimes 2 times a day for 2 hours, right? If we're practicing, if you're only practicing 2 times and 2 hours a day with me, and I'm already like a level above you, when are you gonna reach my level if I'm still practicing more than you?
You need to clock in more hours.
So like something as small as that allows us to push each other, and then eventually we'll be like, yo, what are you doing tomorrow? I'll get some shots up in the evening at 6 o'clock if you want to join. If he says no, he's busy or something, ask another teammate. And then eventually that becomes like a routine, and then other people be like, oh, dang, he's working out with him. Let me see if I can work out with this guy, or if I get a workout.
So you're giving like a positive examples to other teams.
So that's what we'll
so it's gonna roll up.
But again, it's also the advantages. We have our own arena,
right?
Not every.
So it's a flexible, in terms of the access to.
We have the access and the opportunity to actually just go and put extra work in our craft and stuff. While other teams, they probably don't have that luxury. You know?
Yeah. Oh wow, amazing. Now let's talk about your new team, Dewa United, Banten. Woo!
Yeah,
let's go. So Dewa is relatively younger team compared to Satria Muda, but they have been consistently in the playoff the past few years, even last year. So how do you, with your experience, 13 years of experience with Satria Muda, and then becoming an international player, playing in the SEA Games and all that, how does your experience can help the team to win the championship?
I feel like me being a seasoned player, I have the advantage and the, we could say, expertise or knowledge, at least the knowledge to be able to teach these younger players, and also being the fact that I grew up in the States, and since we have imports in the league now, so like I'm kind of like the bridge to help the locals and the imports like connect with each other, and at the same time, right now we have a coach that's from Argentina.
Okay.
Right. So it's like there might be a language barrier. And even though my Bahasa is not great, but like, it's enough for me to like, translate English to Bahasa for some of the guys. And then at the same time, help these guys that are like, that were like, I might have a different view on things, so I can teach them and help them and be like, hey, you need to improve on this, like stuff like that.
Yeah. So also what you mentioned about being in a champion team in Satria Muda for 13 years, that also brings you something like what we say as a culture. Like, okay, this is a winning culture. This is how it looks like. We got this and that. The way the players gel with the other players are like this, and they keep pushing each other. This is how we're getting better each day. I think that is something that you can
absolutely. Like everything that I like, of course I'm gonna be comparing what did I do in SM, what is it like in Dewa. I'm gonna take all the good positive things. If they don't have it here, I'm gonna try to bring it in.
Well, that's the idea of having someone who's gone through it to the new team. Amazing. Now, I want to talk about basketball, Indonesian basketball in general, for a bit, because as you know, my kids are right now into basketball, and I start seeing a lot of competition for kids, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Like 6 years old, 7 years old, they all can do layups really easily these days, right? And I feel like it's the ecosystem is starting to flourish. But in your opinion, how to elevate basketball to greater height nationally and internationally? Of course, one day we would like to win, probably world championship, Olympics and all that. Well, what does it take in your opinion?
That's tough, because we, what it is? It's just we need like some crazy basketball enthusiasts in every levels. The people that are in charge of like the high school division, creating a high school. Like right now, for example, a lot of school leagues, some games are like 100 points to 2.
Oh wow!
Like there are games like that, you know. Like how do we do it so that it's like close at least, like not that big of a gap, because that's 100 to 2 is ridiculous. But like, how do we create that the industry from the youth, right? But first and foremost, we have to construct the industry in the professional level. We're getting there. There's improvements and stuff like that. But then it's like, for example, in America. A lot of the NBA players, they get their players from college Division I players. Whereas over here is not necessarily true. Like it's just college players, or it's just from people from like just get discovered from random places and stuff, or from porn or certain basketball events and stuff like that. A lot of kids are also like, in my opinion, I don't feel like this is what I see. Players get picked up when they're young, right? So like they become like a junior player since high school.
Yeah.
And then so it's like by the time they're in college, if you're ready, then they'll put you in the roster. But you already have a contract and stuff like that.
Okay.
That I disagree on.
Okay. Why is that?
Because I feel like it doesn't defeat the purpose, but like it takes away from the hunger. Because it's like if a lot of most NBA players from the States is like, I wanna go to the NBA because the salary is big and I want to put my family in a better position, right? But over here is just like you're putting a kid in a situation where they don't understand the business yet, and then now they're just stuck in it. Not necessarily it's a good deal for them, but and the parents don't understand the business at all. All they care about is, oh, my kid is being provided with a free education, a place to live, and maybe whatever, right? Yeah. But like in my opinion, it needs to be more organized. Like it's too soon for a player to be paid like in the high school level. Like wait till like later on, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I think the whole aspect of now parents I feel like are allowing their kids to play basketball. Like before it was like main basket gajinya paling berapa.
It's a hobby.
Yeah, it's a hobby. You're not really gonna make a career out of it. Don't do it. But now I think parents are more like allowing their kids like, oh, you want to be a basketball? Okay, go ahead. Join this academy or try. You could get a good education or you can get something, like as long as you're in the right position and stuff like that. But yeah, like it starts early. It starts from the parents. It starts from properly the infrastructure of the national team, the league itself and stuff like that, and then working our way down, including high school division, college division, even porn and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think I start to feel that the parents, like our generation of parents, starting to get their kids to be more competitive in basketball. Like for example, my kids. I mentioned before, like 7 years old, already can layups like super easily, even though he's not that tall. And then I started to feel at the same time that the parents are really wanting the kids to win. And they even in my kids club, they're starting to like really excited when they see their kids are playing. Not just for the sake of it, but it's also because they want to see the kids playing, getting better, and people actually starting to put money into the private tuition. I'm one of those parents, by the way. Like I'm trying to put my kids. If they like the basketball, go play. They're good at it, right? So I think that's what you're saying about. Okay, let's start the ecosystems right early, but get it right to the point where they get to the professional level.
But at least like make sure the parents have to know, like, okay, they're joining this team. It's good to win, but they have to learn, like, not just winning, losing at a cost, sportsmanship. Because in my opinion, basketball is just not basketball. It's not just also getting a salary or you getting a free education. I think it's really important that, in my opinion, basketball reveals character. Right? You can tell a good basketball player from the adversity they go through. Like, they go through something tough in practice or a tough game. Are they going to quit? Or are they going to just shy away? Are they going to learn from it and prevail and stuff like that? So like parents have to understand, it's like at a young age, this is a developmental stage, not just in the game, but also their characters as well, And then, if their parents are just pressuring them to just like, oh, you have to do this, you're not good enough, or
just some
remember,
parents
at the end of the game, they're just a kid.
just
trying to play a game,
Exactly. This is what I have fun,
grow,
right?
Yeah, just let them grow and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've came across parents like that.
Yeah.
Well, at one end, it's good that they're passionate about them wanting to, about basketball. But and the other end, I felt like, okay, probably it's getting too much. You gotta give a bit of a room for the kids to really feel it, whether they're winning or losing. I think that's a good segue for my next question. Winning or losing, how should one really take the loss? I mean, you're in the position where, championship probably just like, 1 point away and stuff like that. And sometimes it's really heartbreaking when you lose, right? But how should we see a loss in a game?
Everybody goes through it differently.
Yeah.
Some people cry, some people like just get really angry. But I feel like I'm in the part of my career where it's like, it happens. It sucks. I hate losing.
Yeah.
But it happens. But you show more of how you feel about that loss after. So it's like, okay, let's say I lost in the finals or I lost this game. Why did I lose?
Yeah.
Okay, I played bad. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. What are you doing to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
Like action speaks louder than words. Everybody can say, I hate losing. All right. What are you doing about it? Nothing. You're just doing the same routine of 2 hours of practice. And then that's it. Like, so you care, but you don't care. So basically.
Right.
So for me personally, like, I'm a type of person where I like to dissect things. So I would watch the game, see what I did wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like in basketball, if you want to be one of the top players, you have to be one of your worst critics. You have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Was it a good pass? Was it the right move? Should I have done this and stuff like that? So if you can be honest with yourself and not just be like, oh, I had 15 points, I had 7 rebounds.
Yeah,
these other guys, they suck. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, first you got to blame yourself first, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, then you see, okay, where can we improve as a team?
Yeah.
All right, do I have to talk to the coach maybe? Or do I have to talk to this player, that player, whatever? Like, how can we improve for the next game, for the next season and whatnot, and stuff like that?
Yeah. So that is something that you view losing as an opportunity to really look into, okay, what have I done? Yeah. First of all, what did I do wrong? Or what can be better for myself? So looking inwards first.
What can I learn?
What can I learn from this?
To improve for the next one. It's the same thing as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You start a business, it fails.
Okay. Happens.
Okay, what do I do?
What did I do wrong?
So this doesn't happen again. What can I learn from a mentor?
Yeah.
That will make me put myself in a different position for my next business.
Yeah.
And then you try
exactly
it again.
Like that.
Basically.
Exactly.
That's why I say basketball, I can apply basketball to everyday life all
Exactly,
the time.
yeah.
It's just the way you perceive things.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. For the young athletes, I think in anything that you're doing, whether it's basketball or any other sports, or even in the daily life, discipline is the one thing that I feel really underappreciated by, well, let's say parents, because under their parents, whatever they're doing, right? How to build it early on? What did your parents do to you? Probably learning from your own experience. Is there anything that your parents did back then to get you to the level of discipline that you have right now?
To be honest, like we were such a Asian household.
Okay.
So it was like my parents, we can play sports as long as your grades were good, right? That was number one. So my discipline came from books, like from school.
Actually, from school,
right? Because it's like, for me personally, I wasn't allowed to go to the park or play outside except for Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
On the weekends.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the weekdays, after school, go home, do my homework.
Okay.
That's that, right?
Okay.
But then, like, I was always an active child. Like I played every sport,
Yeah.
like just for fun. I love sports. We had my dad was a volleyball player. My mom, she liked sports too.
Yep.
I don't know if she actually played sports.
Yep.
And then so it's like in their heads, it's like we'd never had a professional athlete in our family, right? So it's like always focus on school and stuff like that. And then finally, my dad started seeing me being so active, and then seeing me trying to join the basketball team and whatever and stuff. And then he started allowing me to do it. And then once that happened, like when I finally made the basketball team in high school, like he allowed more things for me to do. Like, okay, you want to go practice in the park?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
And then like I felt like I was released from my cage. Like, you know, I didn't have to just go home every day, you know? So I went to the park and just play basketball. My dad would be there watching sometimes. My mom would be there while she's grocery shopping. I'll be shooting around, and then that's it. Like, so I just and then I just wanted to be like, I loved the game at an early age.
Yeah.
So like, I just wanted to be a sponge. So like, once I was more independent and my parents let me like go chill wherever I want to, I would go to like this park in this area, this park in the city, in Brooklyn, and another part of Queens.
To play basketball.
Just to play basketball. So I could learn from different people, play against different competition.
Okay.
Because the problem is like over there, you usually get too comfortable, right? So you might be considered a good basketball player, but then you're only good here because you're comfortable in this park.
Right.
Like there's nobody pressuring you. The environment is the same.
You know everybody.
Yeah. You know who's better and who's not, and you know, and stuff like that, right? So like a real test would be, you know, you would go to this park, challenge these players, that players, the best of that park, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So then once that happened, I started being a sponge, just learning from everybody, you know. And then at an early age, I was such a student of the game.
Okay.
And then that gave me the discipline. And then I was just like hungry just to improve. Because at first it was like I was a nobody, right? Because my school, we had good players, and I was just like that Asian kid. And then I went from not having any minutes, just being on the bench, to being able to bump up to the varsity team, but still be on the bench, get some playing time, and then eventually becoming the captain on the team too, and stuff like that. So like I saw it progress, right? And I was like, okay, I'm finally getting to, I need to be more serious. How do I get better? And this at that time, we didn't have YouTube.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
We didn't have the academies where we
probably still watching N1 on the tape. Yeah. Right.
That was my Bible. Like I was watching it over and over. Before every try, I used to watch the Michael Jordan DVDs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's how I got better.
Yeah.
Like just being
trying to copy all the moves by the professor or something. Yeah. Okay. So it does. So the discipline itself started at home, where your parents will kind of force you to get your work done. I mean, school work done before you can even go and play. Exactly. But then you kept that attitude or discipline to the point where you got offered on your last year of university, like last year of college, and then you decided, okay, let me finish this one first, and then you come
here.
Okay, so it's totally a strong support from parents really gets you to where you are today.
Oh yeah, I mean they were surprised that I decided to come to Indonesia too, because it was my cousin's idea, right? Yeah. So then once that happened, then he handled my contract and stuff like that. And then I finally told my parents, because like in college, it was just my parents had already retired.
Okay.
So they when I was in college, they were in Indonesia, and then it was just me and my sister in New York.
Oh, okay. So they already here at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so like when I told them, I was like, I'm gonna try playing basketball in Indonesia. Like, really? Like, yeah, well, why not? I mean, I'm getting paid for it. How many people can say they're a professional athlete? You know?
Exactly.
Like even in college, I think my last team that I played for, besides me, only one other player played professionally. Yeah. And then there's a statistic where it says you have a better chance in winning the lottery than getting drafted in the NBA.
Serious?
Yeah.
That's that hard?
Yeah. So I was like,
Wow.
yeah, might as well. Why? Well, like I invested so much time in basketball in high school and college.
Yeah.
Why not just try? Like I felt like if I failed, I can still come back and then find a job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But at least like my basketball career that I've invested in, like I can be like, okay, at least I tried.
Yeah.
And then eventually it ended up like this.
13 years, 14 years.
Wasn't a bad decision.
It wasn't a bad decision. I don't think so. I think that was that. I really think that if anyone could pick a job according to their passion, they're already such a super lucky, I would say. You know what I mean? Like you don't feel like you're working.
Yeah, I agree. You just have fun doing it.
Yeah.
That's why they say love what you do.
Yeah.
And do what you love.
Exactly. That's totally what we are doing right here. Yeah. Exactly. Now, basketball career transitions. Mm-hmm. Obviously, every athlete has their time limit. Mm-hmm. You can't play the whole life like how you work in the office or you're running a business, right? Mm-hmm. How do you see your well, obviously you still have 3 years down the track, but what does it look like life after basketball? Do you know anyone that can transition smoothly from being a player to become something else? That
I think again it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Like I found my niche was basketball.
Yep.
Now you just gotta find your niche after basketball, like whether it's coaching or starting a different entrepreneurship. It depends on is it basketball wise or
you totally have to build a brand or something like a shoe brands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something to look into.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But like
still within the basketball realm.
Very true. Yeah. So just gotta find your new niche for the rest of your life, since you can't play,
Yeah.
But it's not gonna be easy, but you gotta start thinking about it.
Yeah. Do you have anyone in mind that you can think of that successfully transition to that?
Are we talking about Indonesian or are we talking about in general?
We can talk international too. Since the Indonesian one would probably too small.
Be small. Yeah. But if we're talking about internationally, there's a lot of NBA players that are very successful. Like
Shaq O'Neal.
Yeah, I was about Shaq. He owns like 155 Five Guys and car washes. He owns so many things.
Yeah. The master of small businesses.
Him, LeBron.
Yeah.
He has like invested in a soccer team, a school. He opened up a school.
Yeah.
Who else? Michael Jordan with his shoe brands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players that we don't know about that like they part of the thing that players need to be taught as well is money management as well. Like,
financial literacy.
Exactly. The problem is a lot of the players, they get taught like later instead of when they started money. Yeah. Or when it's like either they're about to retire and it's too late to find a great investment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's
because it happens a lot. Yeah. I mean, not just in probably they're doing it better in the US, I guess.
Yeah, they're definitely doing it better in the US. I mean, honestly, to be honest, this is a funny story. So remember I said that my plan was to just try it out for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So after 2 years, this is the first time I'm actually making my own money, right? Like besides having like jobs in the States, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, I'm making my own money. Nobody can tell me what to do with my own money.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I'm young, right?
Yeah.
I'm going out to the clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And after like the end of my contract year, I'm like, where all my money go? Like, I can go back to New York with no money, right?
Yeah,
so I'm like, all right, I gotta get a new contract and be smart with my money this time.
Okay, so you learn from that experience. Okay.
Yeah. So
is that something that you've been trying to tell the younger players?
I have actually.
You have.
So like, I try to not just teach basketball.
Yeah.
But try to teach like, hey, it's beyond basketball. You know that, right? Like. You can set things up for yourself like way early instead of later, like invest in a house or something. Just in case you retire, you want to quit. At least you have somewhere to live. You don't need to worry about paying rent or anything. And the house, you can sell it if you don't like it eventually or something. You know, don't just like you get your contract money and then you buy a car. Like that's a lot of young mistakes. You know,
it's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, rookie mistake. Like, you know, they buy a
but
car.
it happens, right? It happens.
Or they go out partying every night. Rookie mistake.
I wouldn't be surprised because it's a when you're young, that's the tendency that.
I mean, we all got to go through it.
You have to go through it. Like what you did, right? 2 years, and then I was like, oh,
something's wrong with my bank account.
What's going on? Is there a rat something biting on my money? But I mean, but unfortunately, a lot of people couldn't get through that phase, and when they realize it's kind of too late.
Too late,
yeah. And then they're probably not young anymore to start playing, or so that's when life starts to get really, really tough after the basketball. Bro, thank you so much for coming to Nalar Bicara. It's really enjoyable talking to you, and best of luck. I guess I gotta buy a new jersey now to support.
Yeah, you can't wear that jersey.
I can't wear that jersey now. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.